I'm having time of my life. Right, we are live, and we are in the run-up to EGX. So we've been putting together a. Oh, I need to turn my phone alerts off because that'll make some noise. So yeah, what I'll be doing today is working on a surface level. I don't know if I'll get it finished today. Still obviously time before EGX, but I'm gonna give it a go. But hang on, I need to stop myself repeating. Um, so yeah, I need to get the surface level starting in place, and in doing so, I need to create kind of groups of enemies that are going to attack the player. I think it's going to feel a little bit like the Bacchus holdout level, only it'll have the surface elements in place, and the new control scheme, and it'll be slightly less aggressive. Although, because it's a show floor build, we do actually want to kill the player. We don't want them sitting playing the game for an hour or more, because we do have or them to succeed, obviously, because we do have to get people through. And with the mechanics of the game, it takes a while to initially learn how to play. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. So let's jump into that. You're right, Mike. Fantastic. Okay, so what do we have here then? This hasn't been shown to anyone yet, but what we have here is a hole on the surface. So yeah, that's where the player's colony is going to be emerging from, so to speak. And I have here a pint of coffee. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to show you basically where we're up to. Just by running this, and I'll show you the basic control schemes that I've got. These won't do much, although we'll be able to kill them. They won't fight back, but I'll come to that in a moment. So yeah, having a look at the current build of the game, what we have here okay, so this is like the surface tunnel. You'll need to dig that out. Digging it out hasn't been put in yet, but I'll show you a few things. Okay, you've seen all this before. One of the big fundamental changes of what's happened now is workers won't automatically collect food. You have to send them over to the area to do it. They will if they see it, but they'll only do it if they see it within a certain range. So what I'll do is I'll put the food storage chamber down, and what you'll notice is that these workers don't actually do anything once this, because they dig, they do nursery jobs, so they carry eggs and things, and they what's the other thing they do? Build. They still do all that automated. However, they won't go and gather food. So what I need to do is that now the interface is about to receive a large overhaul. Matt is actually doing that as we speak. He's working on the new interface to include all these new elements. But I'll show you. So if I place down a marker, right, and now I can do multiple markers. This is another thing that's about to get an overhaul. But basically, that was marker 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was using the keyboard keys to put them down. There's actually currently in this build not a way of deleting them, but that'll be in place by the time. But anyway, you place down a marker, then you assign. Right. So this is seven workers. Don't worry about the icon. That's part of the interface change. But basically, you can assign the rooms to the markers. Now 7 is because of the queen chamber. That is the queen chamber. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the 7 ants that have hatched from the queen chamber. So that's what that is. I assign those to that marker, and what they'll do is they'll wander to it, hang around it, and wander back. Now, if they see any food when they get there, they will pick that up, and they will then carry that back to their to the food storage. So that's how you yeah. I've noticed we've got a few carrying bugs that have been happening, but I'll deal with those. Don't worry. So yeah, the now if I move that marker, if I go up to the surface and I move that marker up to the surface, right, what's going to happen is, first of all, the ants that are already on their way to that marker will continue going to that one, then they'll go back. The ones that aren't on the way to that marker will then go to this new one. Once all those ants have visited that marker underground will disappear. Oh yeah, the workers are also fighting. Workers can defend themselves now. So yeah, there's quite a few changes that have happened, and during all of this, I've actually reworked pretty much the whole of the AI in the game. So yeah, it makes a difference. At the moment, the ants are just kind of randomly spawning from any point that's on top of the hole. But what we will do, and what Matt is another thing Matt's working over the next couple of days, is like a climbing out animation. So as they come out the hole, they'll come out. So yeah, that's the basics of the surface mechanics. And if I create a few new chambers, because I'll have received loads of food by now. Actually, I haven't received loads of food because I haven't sent them to pick it up. So yeah, get those together. The rest of the food. Actually, one of the things that has come up is because I can't. Oh no, I can. I can deassign them to the chamber. So, hang on. Yeah. So if I unassign them to the chamber, they'll then go back to doing building, digging, and brood jobs. The ants that are assigned to the chamber, assigned to the point, that aren't assigned to anything, do those jobs. So you want to have a few workers traveling about doing bits and bobs anyway, without assigning them. But you should be able to have a large enough force to do that. Okay, so what am I actually working on today? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is speed up the camera so I can get to the above ground quicker. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to fix the AI for these. So like I said, I redid all the AI for the ants in the process of making all that assignment stuff work. However, in the process, I've managed to break the AI for these creatures up here. So first of all, I've got to make them attack again and defend themselves. Devil's coach horse without that doesn't attack is no enemy at all. That shouldn't take too long. in a live stream I did a while ago, I created these. I created their AI, and they were called swarm creatures, and they basically swarm around a certain point. Now I'm actually thinking rather than just a single point, what I should do is I should create an actor which is the swarm. Once once you cave all space inside the nest, you have no more space. Uh, yeah, you've got a level's designed to be limited in some respect. Um, you won't need more space than you're given, and the level will be designed around that in mind. Some point we might create a kind of an endless mode or something like that where you can just expand, and then maybe we'll give you a large underground area so you've got plenty to expand into. But in the missions themselves, in the campaign, in the skirmishes, you'll have a limited underground space. You'll always have a limited space in the game. And sometimes we're quite generous with it, but not always. Right. Okay. So I want to create a swarm sort of actor. So I want it in. It's kind of in creatures. Make a folder in here. Oops. No. Swarm manager. Does that make sense? No, because it's not managing the overall swarms. It is a swarm. I can just call it a swarm. Well, we'll have to see how we go with the actual game launch. The in the initial launch, the plan is to have a few things. It's to have a campaign, skirmishes, and also some little challenge missions. I'm sure in the challenge missions we'll have something that plays a little bit like an endless, but it won't be exactly that. But what we've got to be realistic about what we can actually do as well. I mean, you can't have an endless amount of ants. That's not gonna. It's just not gonna work, because they'll get to a point where the computer slows down. Hello, Crimson Sabres. Right. So my swarm. Bring it on here. Bring it on. Okay. So this is going to be located somewhere. And what it's going to do is it's going to keep track of all creatures that are part of its swarm. So what I want is an array of creatures. There we are, an array of creatures. Okay. And then there's going to be some events going on within it. It will be updating itself every now and again. So I'm going to put a swarm on the surface, and then attach some creatures to it. That's a swarm. And these, see, these have swarm points at the moment, but I don't want them to work like that. That's a plant species that have relatively small. Yeah, it's true. Looks like it's coming together nicely. Can't wait to see it when it comes out. All right, Paul. Good to have you with us. There are others. There's fire ants that are really cute. Yeah. There are definitely colonies that have huge swarms, so to speak. Fire ants are really aggressive as well. But like I say, we can only do so much. Okay, so I'm going to remove the swarm point. It's going to complain at me because these two are referencing it. Swarm creature. Devil's Coach Horse Swarm, which is a swarm creature. Right, I've created it in Visual Studio. Okay, I don't need to edit that. I just need to change the AI. We'll have to come back to that at some point. Go away. Right. Okay. So yeah, what I want to do is I want to add these. To be fair, if I call it something like Swarm 1. Really doesn't want me to rename that. There we are. Okay, so I'm going to add. Got to make the swarm creatures visible from the outside. So I'm going to add these two Devil's Coach Horse to it. There we are, swarm creatures. What I'll do is I'll eventually do this in code, and I'll make the level automatically generate stuff. But for now, just doing it this way to keep it quick. Okay, so now they've got a reference to the swarm, and the swarm has a reference to them. Okay, so let's delve into their AI. What I want them to do is basically wander around, but in the area near the swarm point. And the idea is I will move the swarm around, and they will move to it and wander around where the new swarm goes. Well, where the point goes. And then I've also got to make them react to if I move the swarm point inside someone's colony. So basically, then they have to head to the hole instead of the swarm point. But we'll get there. We will get there. First of all, I need to have a look at the AI. It's in Beast, Swarm Creature. Okay, so this is currently what it does. It's very simple, but the issue, I believe, comes from this. Yeah, I made some changes and I basically broke it right here. So what I started adding stuff in about resources and it didn't need it. All this should be doing is it doesn't need anything to do with resources, so nearest resource can go. This can go. That can go. Drag all this back here. We want this to be really simple. All it needs to do is look for the nearest enemy. If it finds one that it's not currently targeting, it needs to head to it. Dead simple. The restart the logic is... It's one way of doing something, but I'm not convinced it's the best. It'll do for now. Okay, so basically, as a creature, we need to look at its target. Current target. Current target. And we need to look at the enemy. Glad you're excited. No, it's not an MMO. It's more of a RTS. Initially, there won't be an online element to it. But we're basically gonna have to. We're gonna see how the launch goes. If the game's popular, we'll keep building on it. We're a very small company, and this is kind of a first game we've made as a company, so taking it one step at a time. Okay, so I will do it this way to start with. Nearest enemy. Okay. So if the nearest enemy is the same as the current target, we do nothing. Else we set nearby enemy. Set nearby enemy. Do I have a nearby enemy? This is the old way it worked. I might bring this more in line with how I've done colony creatures. This is the redone AI for the colony creatures. Check and set nearest enemy. I think this actually sets it. Blackboard creature state. See, I think I'm going to be bringing it more in line with this. So maybe I should actually just take this and change it. That might not be a bad call, actually. That's colony creature decide. I'll call it. I'll create one called beast decide. So what I want to do is I want to duplicate this then. Okay, I'm going to start with this as a base. Then I'm going to move. That needs to go into the beasts AI. Need to move this. Okay. It's awesome, especially since it looks like it would run on low budget PCs. I'm showing it to all of my friends. You can it's quite scalable. It's built in the Unreal Engine, but the graphics can go quite low and quite high. So I mean, what you want to do is you want to download the build we have up on IndieDB and just try and run it on your machine and see where that gets you. Okay, beast decide. Okay, so I copied beast decide. I'm going to delete this, not that. Swarm, and instead add beast decide. Now this is basically creature state, blackboard target. This is basically the creature deciding what to do. This is actually old. That's not attached to anything. I should probably delete that in the other one. Okay. So what does a beast need to do? Okay, it needs to check for... Actually, I need to create this. Yeah. Oh, look at all this rubbish. Don't need this anymore. What blackboard's this? What blackboard? Formica Erepta Worker Black. Oh dear. Why is it using a Formica Erepta Worker blackboard? One moment, please. Swarm. Should probably just call it Swarm Blackboard. Yep, let's make a new blackboard. Blackboard's like a little scratch area that the AI can just shove data into, but I don't use it very often. Most things are most operations are done through the creature themselves, but there's a couple of things that Blackboard is designed to work with, so I put some data in there. AI, call it swarm. Swarm blackboard. Right. And then in my swarm creature, I will use swarm blackboard. Okay. Using a different blackboard now that's currently completely empty. What it needs is a... Here I created a creature state. See, that was a colony creature state. So I'll probably create an enum called swarm creature state. Enums are just it's essentially like a 1, 2, 3, 4, but you give them names just so it's more easily readable. Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, we really appreciate the spreading of the word and people talking about us. We've reached some pretty big streamers have covered us, which has been fantastic. Okay. So I need to create this enum. Colony creature state. Cancel. It's not an advanced asset, that's for sure. You know what? The simplest way of doing this is copying the colony one. Swarm creature state. So yeah, once we've done this, we'll then probably delete the vast majority of stuff that's in that swarm creature decide, because that's all the colony creature stuff, and which are a lot more complicated than swarm creatures. I don't know how much I'm going to need here actually. So I guess there'd be a swarm creature. Hang on. How did I do it with the colony? Let's keep it standard. How did I do it with the colony creatures? So I've got unusual status. Yeah, it's going to need that. So that's like stunned, poisoned, running in fear, that sort of thing. Carrying food, no. Do job, no. Attack enemy, yes. Gather food, no. Bulk ones, no. Idle. So yeah, it's just those three. Okay, so they're the things that the colony that the beast will be able to do. Okay, so from here, if I just assign this enum to swarm creature state, that needs to be given a name. Again, what did I call it in the colony creature? Blackboard creature state and blackboard target. Yeah, let's do that. And a target, which is going to be an actor. Okay. The other thing that it should be able to do actually is, if I have a look at the colony creature one. Blackboard target. Creature state. Yeah. Okay. I didn't actually need to write Blackboard there. It's useful on the other one because there is a non-Blackboard target, but in this it doesn't make any difference. There is only one creature state. Okay, I'll stop mumbling to myself and we will start getting this in place. Okay, so beast decide, it has 3 options, right? So the first one is unusual status, exactly the same as a exactly the same as the previous one. Blackboard creature state, yep, that's fine. Okay, so unusual status, yep. So if it's got an unusual status, it has to deal with that first. Next, is it carrying food? Doesn't have to deal with that. We can give this one a miss. Doesn't have to deal with job assignments either. Both of those can go. Right, nearest enemy, yes. Nearest food, no. Trail allocation, no. Idle, yes. Okay. Okay, so these are the 3 things it can do. Get rid of that. Put that one in, and this one, same with this one. This one's idle. Okay. Connect that up. What's this? If Blackboard target does not equal whatever that's connected to, the nearest enemy. So if Blackboard target isn't the nearest enemy, then it needs to, yeah, switch the value. Okay. Yep, this is all fine. That works fine. Okay. Ah, that won't work. It's not a colony creature. Just cast a creature. This creature needs to be a creature. Okay, seems happy with me there. Excellent. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Was there a set date for full release? No, we're not pinning it down yet. Until we're confident we can achieve it. So, I mean, we can say we're still aiming for early 2017, but I don't want to pin anything down. Found the game whilst I was searching for something, a colony insect evolving game along these lines. Found it. I'm glad it looks. I'm glad it fulfills what you're after. I hope it does anyway. Hope it will when it comes out. Right. Okay. So I need to link these up. Blackboard creature state. Yep. Target. Yep, that's fine. Both of those are fine. Okay. Hang on. No, I'm in the wrong. I'm in. That's why I need to close colony creature before I make changes to it. Okay, beast decide. Okay, creature state. Yep. Blackboard target. Yep, it's fine. Okay, so what that should do is it should set something. I'm going to need colony creature open again. Yeah. So we need these blackboard base conditions, which abort themselves if anything changes. So what I want here, it's not do I have nearby enemy, is blackboard something called the blackboard base condition. Blackboard, there it is. Blackboard base condition, observer aborts self on value change. What's it actually looking at? Right, so yeah, is equal to carrying food, colony creature status. Okay, so you want to do is equal to attack enemy. Creature state. Okay, so basically, if the creature state changes, it will abort whatever it's doing below. That looks right, doesn't it? Yep. Oh, I wonder if this will work first time. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. Fair check for nearby enemies is gone now. Okay. And this is if it's idle. So want a similar thing to that. Is equal to idle. Yep. Abort self on value change. Okay. Target near swarm location. So that should be fine. That shouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, let me check the attacking setup correctly. Actually, I could do with one of these, which is the unusual status one. Oh no, not from there. Just so it's in place, so when we do get round to implementing it, we have it in place. Value change, observer abort self is equal to unusual status. Creature states. Yeah. The blackboard target is actually something that we do need to consider, I believe, in the attack loop. Where's the attack loop? Target nearby enemy. Here's the attack loop. It basically constantly checks if it can attack the target. If it can't, it will abort that. But aborts self if blackboard target And value change. Yeah, that's what I need as well. So basically, if the target changes, it needs to link that up with Blackboard target. Abort self on value change. Yeah, that all looks fine. Has the attack loop changed? They look exactly the same, don't they? Can I attack target inversed? Can I attack target? Target enemy, move to creature. Ah, now that might cause a problem. Let's have a quick look at that. Oh no, move to creature, same thing. Okay, that looks promising. Looks promising. Okay, so I've put together the AI, or fixed the AI for this creature. Let's see if it works. So basically what I'm expecting to see is these to basically hang around this and not walk away from it. When they... And then when I attack them, they should attack back. Theoretically. Oh boy. Okay. That looks like he's walking away. Okay, they're definitely not attacking back, and they're definitely walking away. So let's have a look at its behavior tree. Okay, so before I do anything, I'm just going to click on one of them and make sure they're actually running this behavior tree. Huh. Right. Okay, it doesn't look like they are. Okay, I'll be back in a mo. 1 minute. Okay, let's have a look at the behavior tree. Right, so I'm going to have a look at the Swarm AI controller and behavior tree. So this seems unnecessarily complicated. Yeah, it is. There we are. Simpler. Okay. So it uses UG creep blackboard. No, we want it to use swarm blackboard. Right, let's have a quick look to see if it's actually. No, doesn't seem to think that there's any. Doesn't seem to think there's any creatures using the behavior tree. So what I'm going to do is make sure that these creatures are actually using the correct AI controller. No, they're not. UG creep AI controller. That's the problem. What they need to use is swarm AI controller. There it is. Okay. Okay, so now they'll actually be doing what I'm telling them to do. Johnny Practice DK. Hi. Good to see you streaming again. Thank you. I do like streaming. Right. What do we have? Okay. Okay, there we are. Okay. Now we're working. Now we can see what the issues are. Okay, for a start, this move to command has nothing in it. I need to change the way this works. So target near swarm location. What it actually should do now, rather than trying to set a blackboard value, is actually set a value on the creature. So let's do that. Swarm creature. There's something in here called current target location. There we are. No, we don't want to get it. We want to set it. So this is a location that the creature will be heading towards. And basically, to get that location, I've gone, right, where's the creature's swarm point? Where's that's location? Then given it a radius of 500 and said, pick a random point within that radius that's on that it can get to. And then it sets the target location. So it's pretty simple. And then instead of that move to command, I think there is a move to creature location target. Right. Nope. In a second. Hello? 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 Yeah? Yes? If you're trying to sell me something, please don't. Please remove me from any list. Please don't call me Spam. Everyone loves spam phone calls. Right. I should just hang up on them before I pick up. Right. So, we're moving to a target location. Okay. So, did that work? See, now they're walking around. This looks promising. Yeah. Yeah, we're good now, aren't we? That's the ultimate test. Will they kill my workers? No? That's interesting. Huh. Right, I need to work out what's going wrong there then. But I should be able to see it pretty easily in the AI. I reckon it's something to do with attack target. I reckon it gets into this attack loop, but doesn't. But doesn't move on from it. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so there the attack's happening. Oh. It does get in there. Gets in. Right, maybe there's something obvious in attack target that's the problem. Event, receive, execute. Right, I'm just going to check that this is the same as is in colony creature, because the last thing I want to do, see you shortly, is try and rework something where it's already been done. Where's the attack loop? Here. Nope, does look like it's the same one. Okay, so what does it do? This actually looks a little bit old. There's been an update since in Unreal which opened up things like this. Which meant you didn't need these. Store reference to target. Is target in play? Is target in play? Set turn to target. Right. Just trying to work out why it's working for the what. I'm assuming these are set to yeah. -1. Something's going on here. It's idling. Noise. Let's turn that down. We need to change those noises actually at some point. So it must be in this beast decide. It must be deciding. I can follow the logic. Follow it for one of them. Okay. So we're coming out false here. So what have we got? Swarm creature state, that's fine. Blackboard creature state. That has been set up right, hasn't it? Maybe not. Creature state, blackboard target. Yeah, it's been set up fine. Okay, so it's here that it's failing. So if nearest enemy creature is not equal to blackboard target. So if the nearest enemy is not the same I know what I've done. That's not meant to be connected to anything. If your nearest enemy is not the same as the thingy, if the nearest enemy is the same as the previous target, it just shouldn't do anything. Yeah, that was the issue. I've connected that up a bit trigger happy. Because if we have a look in colony creature again, I keep opening and closing this. In decide, let me have a look at that point. Check set nearest enemy. Yeah, false does nothing. It just stops it at that point. So that at least should stop it going into idle. So that'll be a start. There we go. There we go. Our terrifying Devil's Coach horse are back. Okay, I'm coming back to you guys. Have a quick read of, a quick catch up of what people have been saying. If anyone said anything. No one said anything. Okay, we're good. I'm good to keep going, I think. Okay, so let's get rid of stuff we don't need up here. Common creature can go again. Beast decides fine now, we fixed it. Attack target, there was nothing wrong with that. Target near swarm location, that's working. This doesn't do much anyway. Okay. Save that and close it. Didn't change it. So what we need next is for this swarm manager to do something. So I'm not sure. Maybe what I'm looking for is, maybe it needs a behavior tree. It's not swarm manager, it's a swarm. But maybe a swarm needs a mind. So if, I mean, I can operate the swarm from, no, I think it needs a, behavior tree. I think each of these swarms need to be kind of almost thinking for themselves. So they need to analyze its surroundings and go, right, what should my swarm do? Then go, right, I'll attack the player, or I'll walk over here. And obviously we should be able to control it ourselves as well. I don't keep ants myself, I'm afraid. Fascinating creatures, but I don't have any pets at the moment. I know. With ants, you know you can get some relatively low maintenance species, but I haven't got time at the moment to be looking after creatures. Spent a long time. All right. Yeah. I'm working. You're working. We're all working. Right. Well, with the fire ants, you've got a problem there. They plan escapes all the time. They're aggressive as well. Don't want to keep fire ants. It's the first species. Last thing you want it to be is fire ants. I watch a lot of Ants Canada. I've watched a lot of that channel. There's some fantastic videos on there. And he always warns about fire ants. Okay, I'm going to give the swarm a behavior tree. Shouldn't take long. So in that case... Right, so a new folder in the AI called Swarm. I'll create swarm behavior tree. And Swarm Blackboard. Okay, welcome to the Swarm behavior tree. And I'm also going to need to make a Swarm AI controller. Okay. And this, which is an actor, should need to look at. Oh no, it needs to be a character now. I think it needs to be a character. So I need to reparent this. Okay. So it's now a character. Technically, it could walk. There we are. AI controller class. Are there two of them? Have I done this before? I'm just forgetting. Let me just check I haven't done this before. Nope, there's only one. Then I cannot answer. It's there anyway. Okay, so the Swarm AI controller needs to load the use Blackboard and behavior tree. Run behavior tree. Swarm Blackboard. I've got two Swarm Blackboards for some reason. Find out what the other one is. Oh, that should be called Swarm Creature Blackboard. I need to rename that right now before I forget to do it. Creatures. It's in beasts actually. There are two AI controllers. Yeah. Okay. I need to deal with this naming because I've called everything the same thing. This should be called Swarm Creature AI Controller. And this should be called Swarm Creature Blackboard. before I get confused. So I do all sorts when it does that. I think we're good now. Swarm blackboard and swarm behavior tree. Okay. So that is all right. Okay, so swarm behavior tree. Let's see if it's actually running that. Ooh, that's new. I actually think this is just the editor messing up. Let me reopen the project. I reckon it'll be fine next time I run it. And we're loading. What's got a moment? Just check on Twitter. Okay. There's actually been another complete build of the engine. Like full release of the engine since we but I'm not using it at the moment. No, we do have a problem. We've created ourselves a problem. Access none, trying to read property this creature from function execute graph branch. This creature. Beast aside. Right, is this creature a colony creature? No, it's been set to. I wonder why it suddenly started coming up with that error. Oh, well, let's solve it. E creature status normal. Okay, don't see any problem with that, but let's do this anyway. See if it makes a difference. I have a theory of what it might be upset about here. But it should have been fine with it, to be honest. Okay. Let's see if we're alright there then. Nope, still upset with us. in different places as well. Okay. So this target near swarm. Oh, okay, it's unhappy with me now. Blueprint self is not a creature, therefore target must have a connection. Oh, no, that's... Just having a look at... Each time I'm having a look at the top one that comes up. Alright, this could take a minute. This is going to be fun. So, access none, trying to read property this creature from function. Okay, this creature is set just before it. There. Right, I've got another theory, which might be true, which is that the thing that I've built, the swarm as such, is actually running the wrong AI controller, so to speak. So let's have a look, shall we? This will be my naming of everything getting confusing. Okay, so I want that to be... Make sure it is accessing the right thing. Yep. Okay, that seems fine to me. I don't think I changed anything. Oh boy. Let's make sure this is actually running the right AI controller. Oh, there we are. There we are. That's the problem with naming everything the same thing. Remember, kids, always name things sensibly. That's one way to kill half your viewers, is name everything the same and get confused. But that actually needs to be set in here, not just on the outside. Not just Swarm AI controller. Okay. And we're fine. Panic over. Panic over. Yep, there we are. Okay, so it's going to be a selector. But all I'm going to ask it to do is say some test text. Hello. Just to verify that we're getting some action from it. Yep. It's alive. It's thinking. Right, it's lunchtime. What am I doing for lunch? I'm trying to think of anything quick I can grab. Sandwich and things. I'll give it half an hour, then I'll make myself a sandwich. Okay. So. Heat bugs. No. No, Liam. I've had too many bugs in my time. Okay, so the thought process then of this swarm. What do we actually want them to do? Why has it got that as a... Okay, so what I probably want is some different types. So a passive swarm, which just moves around randomly on the map. Sorry, I missed that particular stream. Watching someone eat disgusting things is funny. Oh, I missed the 24-hour one. Oh, I didn't handle it very well. The water bugs, I really didn't handle very well. There's an image of it somewhere. To be fair, the smaller insects aren't too bad. Things like mealworms and crickets, locusts. They're not too bad. They're only little. I'm not sure if not too bad is what. I don't know. It's not my cup of tea. I'll put it this way, I needed a bucket on standby. Right. Okay, so I should probably give it right, I'm gonna create another enum here, but it's gonna be to do with the swarm, and it's going to be temperament. So the swarm's temperament, are they passive, aggressive, neutral? So what aggressive will do, if a swarm is set to aggressive temperament, it will try and make its way towards enemies. If it can't find any enemies, there's a chance it might try and attack your colony. If a swarm is passive, it will move randomly around the map, so it won't try and aim for an enemy as such. It will just move randomly around. In between, it will do a mix. So that's what I'll do for now. Welcome back. Okay, so let's give them a temperament. So I need an enum again. I can't remember how to create new enums in this. Which seems so ridiculous. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it from one of the others. This one will do. And this swarm temperament. Oh god, how do you spell temperament? I have to pick long words, don't I? Hello! Welcome Vandor. Welcome back. Welcome, Paul. Good to see you again. Okay, so swarm temperament. Inside here, I'm going to have passive, neutral, aggressive. I don't think I need anything else at the moment. Basically, what the swarm does, what it's going to do is it's going to make a decision of what to do every something like 5 to 15 seconds. And that decision will be based on its temperament. To start with, well, I might considering it's a temperament thing, I might make it roll a dice, and basically just weight the possibilities based on what the swarm's set to. Shouldn't take long to produce this anyway. So I need to add an enum into the blackboard. Swarm temperament. Where does this get set? See, this really should be set inside the creature, inside the object itself. So maybe I don't want it in the blackboard. No, I probably don't. Let's not put it in the blackboard. I'm going to put it in. I'm just going to keep it inside the swarm object. So swarm, we're going to have a new variable. Oh, bloody spelling. Temperament. I need to learn this one. Temperament. Temperament. Spelling's not my thing. Okay. Okay, so we've got a swarm temperament there. Leave it as default passive. We'll test passive to start with. Okay, so what's going to happen is, first thing that's going to happen here is we're going to have a service. So much like we had with the beasts, like the swarm creature, they had this. Beast decide. I'm going to have one for the swarm as a whole, which is essentially every now and then it will look and update what the plan is. So we need to rename this to swarm decide. And inside swarm decide, we're going to have this sort of decision making, but based on what the creature is. So, what the weighting is. It's not a creature. It is a swarm. And as a swarm, we can get its temperament. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up this dice roll as such. So an aggressive creature will be much more likely to... So I have a random integer, max value 99, so that's exactly 100 of them, so this is a percentage. But the temperament's going to decide the boundaries. Now, for now, let's come up with some arbitrary values. Mood. Yeah, we do. We know the team behind Niche very well. Actually, we're all part of this playful Oasis collective. They've just released early access today, haven't they? So if you actually, yeah, you can try it. You can play Niche now. Well, the early form of it. we're not really going down the road of evolving in this. Temperament. Yeah, I think it's just such a long word that I fear getting it wrong, particularly live on stream. So instead, I announce to the world my stupidity, which is a way better approach, right? So, passive. Okay, so what were there were three things I said it was going to be able to do. One is attack. Actually, I'm going to give them 4 states, I think. I think they'll be passive, defensive, no, passive, neutral, defensive, and aggressive. So, and what they will do, what they will do is passive will be more likely to just randomly wander around. Doesn't mean the swarm won't attack anything, but it means they won't aggressively go for anything. So they're going to be most likely just to wander around and faff around. Neutral is going to be likely to. Well, it won't be likely to do one thing or the other. It might attack. It might hang around an area. It might wander off. So neutral's just going to kind of give each outcome an equal weight of happening, so to speak. Passive, defensive will be given a what a defensive will do is look for resources, look for the nearest resources and guard them. So it will path towards into an area near the nearest resources, and guard those. And aggressive will be very likely to head towards other creatures on the surface. If it can't find any, it will head into your colony and attack. Okay. So we've got the 4 states: passive, neutral, defensive, aggressive. Okay, and things that it will do, things that can happen is path randomly. So this path randomly, path to resources, path to enemies, path to enemy colony. Okay, so there's 4 states and 4 things they can do, and yeah, I'm not gonna be. It's gonna be minutes in between making these decisions. It's the decisions aren't going to be made every few seconds, because else it'll start heading towards enemies, then end up doing something else before it even gets there. So yeah, so the next thing I need is some sort of boundary. So I need a percentage of the chance to do that for each of those. So it's a 4x4 matrix. Good old Excel. Passive, neutral, defensive, aggressive. Path. Path 2. Enemies. Path to enemy colony. Okay, and now I need to come up with a weighting. To be honest, at the moment, we just need some values in here. We can tweak them at a later date. The temperaments will be chosen by the level, actually. Passive doesn't equal peaceful in this case. These are all enemies, but it means they'll still attack things that come near them, but they won't actively seek combat. This temperament for this build of the game, there's going to be multiple different groups, and these multiple different groups will have different temperaments. So you'll have every now and again an aggressive group will appear and just go straight for attacking everything. And as the game goes on, I'm going to make it more likely that those things appear. I don't think I want to make this endless. So I actually think in this case, there should be just an amount of them you're trying to survive before it tells you that you've gathered everything and defended it from everything in the area. Or maybe the idea in this one is to get to a certain level of food. So that's not a bad idea. So the idea is to gather enough food whilst dealing with all these other threats. I think that's a reasonable goal for this level. And this level's just a demonstration level. Although it'll definitely be a type of mission that we will consider in the actual game is kind of a resource gathering mission. Okay, so passive will be let's give it a 95% chance to path randomly. Actually, I'll make it add up to 1. Path to resource. Path to enemies. path to enemy colony. Yep. Yep. My math skills are not holding up. You wouldn't think I was an engineer, would you? That's why I put that here. So when I do something stupid, it becomes obvious. Okay. So neutral will actually have a, I think path randomly still going to be the highest in neutral. So I'll give it a 50% chance to path randomly. Path to resource. So I think I'll give it a slightly higher chance to path to enemies. Okay, so it's slightly weighted in that direction. Actually, I want to give it less of a chance, I think, to path to the enemy colony. Let's make path to resources. Okay. So a defensive colony will... They'll still have a fairly high chance to path randomly, but I want them mostly to be pathing to nearby resources. Defensive, so I don't really want them to attack the enemy colony. Well, they can, but I don't want it to be a common occurrence. But so yeah. Then finally, the aggressive ones, they can path randomly, but it doesn't happen very often. They have a higher percentage chance to path to a resource, and then we've got 60% to play with, so let's go with 40-20. 20. So yeah, even with the most aggressive type of ant I've got there, they're well, they're not unlikely, but they're not going to be hitting your colony straight away. Patrolling. Patrolling path. So that, I guess that would be, has a couple of points and sticks rigidly to them. Yeah, it's not a bad call. I think for now I'm just going to keep it working through this behavior tree, because I mean the defensive ones should patrol kind of anyway. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be working off. So enough with the numbers for now. Let's get them into let's make some use of these. Okay. So, do I want to hard code the temperament values in here? You know what? For now, I'm going to add in an array of several arrays of colony creature status. See, we're not actually going to be using that. I'll deal with that in a bit. passive weight. So passive weight, I'll have, there's 4 temperaments, isn't there? Passive, neutral. Aggressive. I've spelled aggressive wrong as well. Alright, I'm fine. Okay, so these are just going to be, when I compile this, there. It's just going to be 4 things with the different weights in. So passive was, so the damn it. Actually already read it off the wrong, oh no, no, it's fine. 0.01, 0.01. Okay. You know, it actually might be easier if I make these integers instead, just to fit with this random integer that I've got going. So if I start going with random float, we're just going to get confusing. Okay. So 95, 3, 1 and 1. $50. 2, 2 and 1. Hang on, no. 0.2 is not 2. Come on, John. Get that brain working. As I'm going, just make sure everything that I'm doing is adding up to 100. So 30, 50, 15 and 5. Ten, 30, 40, 20. Ten, 30, 40, 20. All right. Right. Coming back to Twitch for a second. Should, in my opinion, have a 0, 0 to enemy and colony. Makes sense if they're defending. They stay near their hive or queen. Well, these are at the moment we're just doing it with beetles, so it's going to be like groups of these beetle larvae or beetles on the surface. So this isn't actually another colony. This map's not going to have another colony in. It's going to have various creatures and groups of creatures on the surface. Oh yeah. Just unpacked your new gaming chair. Yeah, I like it when you get a new chair. I don't know, I haven't had that one for this long, and it's already getting quite squeaky. Okay. So that's the dice roll. That's that determines which array it uses. Maybe there's like an if or select. Yeah, there is a select. Return the option at index. Ah, no, that won't work. I need to essentially... There needs to be a... If the integers between these two values. I don't know if there is that sort of thing here. Character as number. I might just need to do it manually. I'm going to keep having a look at what functions they've got available. So modulo. So I'm looking at something. Compare one into another and indicate if one is greater or the same. No. So I'm looking for greater than one value and less than another. Negate int. Yeah, I'm just going to have to do this manually. Yeah, harmonic tone's got his priorities. Right, I'm just going to do this manually. So what we're saying is no, that's not what I want. Not AI. Utilities, enum. It's a switch I need. Okay. Actually, that can be a pure cast. Okay, so based on these 3 different things, we're going to do 3 different things. I need to delete that, really. I will do someday. Someday I'll delete it. Okay, so if passive, so we need to get the weights. So we need, if it's greater than, this is going to get a little bit messy, I think. I might put this in a function just to keep it out of the way. Function's the way to do this, definitely. So what is this? Decide. Make decision. And it's going to receive an integer array called weights. And it's going to have one output, which is just going to be a single integer. Actually, it's probably going to be, I'll change this in a bit, but for now it's going to be an integer. Okay, and what it's going to do, first of all, oh god, this is going to get so messy because it's not in code. This is the kind of task that would be so much easier actually in code, but I'm not setting all that up now. Okay, so if random integer with max 99. So I need to get like in something at index. I think I'm just gonna have to. So it needs to build up a picture of it. This seems like the kind of thing that should have a utility function for it. Yeah, there will be hostile colonies. Not all levels will have hostile colonies, but a lot will. Most will. I'm gonna have to eat very soon. Uh, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stop the stream for a while and eat, and then I'll be back on later. So I'm gonna cook myself something. It's gonna take a while, so I'll be back on later in probably an hour, and then you can catch up and you can watch me actually get into the level building. Whilst I'm eating, I'll have a think about this and I'll make sure the decision making works. So yeah, thanks for joining for this part of the stream. Hopefully in the next one we'll be at the point where we can actually start getting the swarms in place, uh, and attacking each other, and we should start seeing these behavior patterns coming to life. So I'll catch up with you. I'll be back on later. Thanks for joining me for this part of the session.